Today I'm giving you guys my final power rankings for the season. Yes, the season is officially over, but that means we have playoff football literally right around the corner. So let's go ahead and get started off with this Cincinnati Bengals. Now, they did look a lot better with Joe Burrow in that offense besides for this past week versus the Cleveland Browns. Joe Burrow, for some reason, just always struggles against it. They're not terrible because they do have some good pieces on that team like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but they got a lot to build on, so I'm going to put them in the C category. Next is going to be the New England Patriots. I really don't trust in any team in the AFC 100%. You can point out literally at least one big factor of why the team is not going very far in the playoffs, and I could 100% understand that. For the Patriots, they have a good team, but number one, they didn't really play anybody amazing in the regular season, and then Drake May, his first ever time in the playoffs as well. So for those two reasons alone, I'm going to put them in the very top of A instead of that S category, but I still think they're a very good team. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints. They were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this season, and for a majority of the year, they did look like it until Tyler Shaw started to play. He looked absolutely amazing. I don't think he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year just because he didn't play in a lot of games, but if he started the season, the Saints probably would have made the playoffs, to be honest, and he probably would have won that award. Definitely still not great, though. I think they still have a lot of things they need to build up on, so I'm going to put them in the very top of C. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and what a game we just saw in Sunday Night Football. Steelers versus Ravens. The last few drives from each of those teams were absolute cinema. I hate it for Ravens fans and Lamar Jackson and just that organization to hold the way they lost, but also I do like Aaron Rodgers. I grew up watching him, so I'm excited to see him go into the playoffs once again and maybe what is his final year. I have a lot of up and downs about this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Sometimes they play good, sometimes they play bad, though. It's just no telling what they're going to be. I think they're a decent team. I'm going to put them in B, and I really do think they have a chance to beat the Texans. Probably wouldn't pick them, but I still think they have a good chance. And we have the San Francisco 49ers. I know a lot of people probably aren't going to agree with me on this, but I actually think they're on the rise at the exact time. I know they just lost to the Seattle Seahawks, but I think very highly on the Seahawks, so I'm not going to put that very well against them. I think Brock Purdy is peaking at the right time. Yes, they still have a lot of injuries. I still think with that offense, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brock Purdy, they're still going to be a really good team. So I'm going to put them in the A category right under the New England Patriots for now. I say this every single week. The Arizona Cardinals looked a lot better when Jacoby Brissett started at quarterback. They still just couldn't find ways to win games, and that's pretty much why Jonathan Gannon already got fired. They announced it this morning as of I'm recording this video. So obviously, I had to put them in D. I think they won like, what, 3 games on the year or something like that. Then we had the Atlanta Falcons. As a Carolina Panthers fan, thank you. That's all I got to say, and we'll talk about that later on. Also, I am very worried about this Falcons team since they're in our division. I mean, they have been on a run the second half of the season. They have a lot of talent with Drake London, Bijan Robinson, a really good defense as well. All they need, honestly, is a head coach now that they fired theirs and a quarterback, and they could be a really good team in the NFL. With that run that they went on to end the season, I'm definitely going to have to put them in B. Then we have the Baltimore Ravens up next, and like I said, I am gutted for the Ravens, especially with what Lamar Jackson played like against the Steelers that last week. He looked like MVP Lamar Jackson, and if he played to that standard through the whole entire playoffs, I really do think they could have went deep into the playoffs, but they did lose that game, didn't end up making it. It's kind of wild that we don't have Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, or Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. That just shows how crazy this season has been. I think they're a decent team still, though. I'm going to put them in B right under the Steelers. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills. I don't trust them to make it deep into the playoffs just because I don't think they're a good team overall. Obviously, with Josh Allen, I think they have a chance in any game, and that's mainly why they are here between him and James Cook having a really good season. Like I said earlier, I really don't trust in any team in the AFC right now, so I'm still going to put them in A right behind the 49ers. Next up, we have my Carolina Panthers. I'm just gonna have to talk about them real quick. We are AFC South champions, make it to the playoffs. I don't care if you say it wasn't deserved or anything like that, because we should have beat the Buccaneers Saturday if it wasn't for the refs. I honestly think the NFL made a call and said, hey, make sure the Bucs lose so everybody would watch the Sunday game of Saints versus Falcons. Even if you say we don't deserve it, I really don't care. We're in the dance right now and anything can happen. Also, we've been through so much as Carolina Panthers fans. The Matt Rule era, Frank Reich, Cam Newton getting hurt and released, getting rid of like Greg Olsen and Luke Kuechly, all of our old goats, having to go through Teddy Bridgewater, Matt Corral, bad Sam Darnold, bad Baker Mayfield, like everything that we've been through, literally winning 2 games 2 years ago. This just means so much to this fan base right now. I don't think anybody will truly understand. I do think we can be a very good team once we get the run game going, and Bryce Young has actually been looking very good this second half of the season as well. I think the defense are one of the top in the NFL. At the same time, we did not close the regular season out very well, so I really can't put a as high. I'm going to put us in the middle of C. I really think we have a lot of potential, though. If we play our best ball, I could actually see us beating the Rams if we play our best ball. Then we have the Chicago Bears. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this one either, but with Ben Johnson coming into that offense and actually teaching Caleb Williams how to be an NFL quarterback, Caleb Williams was actually probably almost a top 5 quarterback in the NFL this year. I am still a little bit worried about the defense because I do think they're lacking in that department. One of the reasons I don't have them going to the NFC Championship game, but I still think they're a really good team, can win any game with Caleb Williams right now. I'm going to put them right above the Bills in A. So we have the Cleveland Browns. Honestly, has been looking a lot better ever since Shedeur Sanders was announced as the starting quarterback. Just fired their head coach and Kevin Stefanski, so I'm going to have to put him in D. But congratulations to Myles Garrett. Another season, another year where the Cowboys aren't in the playoffs. And I really don't hate the Cowboys as much as everybody else does. I actually like Dak Prescott and like CeeDee Lamb. But this power rankings isn't based on how much I like teams. I think the Cowboys are decent, not really amazing, but not really bad neither. So I'm going to put them right in the middle in that B category as well. I know I said I didn't trust a lot of teams in the AFC, but if it was one team I had to pick, it probably would be the Denver Broncos. I am a little bit worried about Bo Nix still, but with that defense and with Sean Payton and coaching the team up and already been in this situation in the playoffs plenty of times before, I really do think he can get Bo Nix right, and he's just got to do decent, to be honest, and not turn the ball over, and they could easily go at least to the AFC Championship game. I feel like I have to put one team in S from the AFC and NFC for my Super Bowl favorite, so I'm going to put them in S for right now. And next up, we have the Detroit Lions. I know we've seen a lot of teams that missed the playoffs this year that we thought were going to make it, but the Lions are probably one of the most crazier ones because they actually had a good season. I mean, Jared Goff played like a top 3 quarterback, and both Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams play like top 10 wide receivers, and even heck, Jahmyr Gibbs played like a top 5 running back as well. For them to have that much talent and not making the playoffs is so much wasted talent. It actually sucks. They didn't make it in the playoffs, didn't look like a great team, so I'm going to have to put them in B right above the Dallas Cowboys. Next up, we have the Tennessee Titans. They have been looking a lot better ever since they fired their head coach. I hope they actually get somebody in there good to help Cam Ward out because at times he does look like a decently good quarterback, but still, obviously, I'm going to have to put him in D. Green Bay Packers did just barely sneak in the playoffs. If they had Micah Parsons, I could see them winning a game or two in there, but I'm going to be honest, with him being injured, I just don't think they're the same team. Decent, but not amazing. I'm going to put him in B under the Ravens. Next, we have the Houston Texans. I feel like everybody knows who the Texans are. Very good defense, but an offense that's kind of lacking. They do say defense wins championships, and dang if they don't have one of the best defenses in the NFL right now. But with that offense, I just can't trust them a lot, so I'm going to put them in the very top of B, right above the Steelers. Sorry, Indianapolis fans, you might want to close your ears or fast forward the video a little bit, but we got to talk about the Indianapolis Colts. One of the biggest downfalls that I have seen in a very long time. At one point, like kind of deep into the season as well, they were looking like one of the best teams in the NFL, the #1 seed, and now they won't even make it into the playoffs. Obviously, they're not a great team, losing a lot of their games going down the stretch at the end of the season, so I'm going to have to put them in C. I actually want to talk a lot about this next team, and it's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars, and honestly, they're one of my dark horse teams to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. The way Trevor Lawrence is playing right now, and the Jaguars defense is playing lights out as well. Besides for the Denver Broncos, this might be the team I mostly trust in that conference right now. I'm going to put them in A right behind the 49ers. Then we have the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs were a dynasty, literally a dynasty, and now the magic has just completely drained out. I know it was without Patrick Mahomes, but 2 of the past 3 games they lost to the freaking Raiders and Titans, and they got blown out versus the Titans. I know they were missing Patrick Mahomes, but still, if you're missing your starting quarterback, you still shouldn't be losing to those teams. I'm not saying they should blow it all up or anything like that, but obviously not a great team this year. I'm going to put them in C right under the Indianapolis Colts. Next up, we have the LA Rams, and honestly, most of this season, this was my team to be. The way Matthew Stafford was looking, I do think he's still MVP. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, like that offense was rolling. But to be honest, the way they ended this season is kind of worrying me a little bit. I mean, they lost to my Carolina Panthers, lost to the Atlanta Falcons. I know they pulled away from the Arizona Cardinals in this last game, but at halftime, they were kind of struggling to them as well. I'm not panicking on them too much, but they're no longer my favorite team, probably not even in their conference. So I'm going to put them under the Patriots in A. Then we have the LA Chargers. I know they have been looking amazing. Harbaugh has turned that team around tremendously, but I still think it's going to take another year or two for them to get a lot of talent down there and actually turn it around to actually be a competitor in the playoffs. Still a really good season for them. I just don't think they have enough talent to make it deep, so I'm going to put them in B right under the Green Bay Packers. Then we have the Miami Dolphins. I know know they didn't make it to the playoffs, but I think we still have to give them a lot of props, especially their head coach and Mike McDaniel. I mean, everybody was calling for his job, and rightfully so. They look like one of the worst teams in the first half of the season. He really did turn this team around. In their last 8 games, they won 5 of them, and those were teams that were actually competing for the playoff spots as well, like the Buffalo Bills and even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, don't think they're a great team, but a lot better than they were at the beginning. I'm going to put them right behind the Panthers and C. And same thing for the Minnesota Vikings, to be honest. Especially from last season, they did not have a good year at all. JJ McCarthy shows that he has a lot of growing to do, but they ended the season very good as well. So I'm going to probably put them right behind the Dolphins and C. Now we're about to have a stretch with a lot of very bad teams, so I'm just going to speed it through these real quick. I'm going to have the Giants and D, obviously. I think they have a very bright future once they get healthy, and with Jackson Dora as well. As long as they hire the right head coach, I think they have a very bright future. New York Jets, obviously, put them in D as well. And the Las Vegas Raiders, very bad as well. I'm putting them in D. I mean, they have the #1 overall pick. The next thing that we're talking about is my favorite team that went to go to the Super Bowl and probably to win it. Now, understand they have Sam Darnold. I'm not trusting Sam Darnold 100% either, but mainly why I am trusting this team is because of that defense. Especially the last 2 games of the season, they have been playing lights out. I don't think I've seen a more dominant defense in the NFL in a very long time. Like, I'm talking about steel curtain and back to when Ray Lewis was playing type of day. So this defense can really take them to the Super Bowl as long as Sam Darnold does decent, doesn't turn the ball over. So I'm going to put them as my #1 ranked team in this week's power rankings, and they're probably my Super Bowl favorite right now. Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that last game, but honestly, like I said earlier when I was doing my Carolina Panthers, they had the refs to help them out a lot. I mean, they still didn't make the playoffs or win the NFC South or anything like that. I do think Baker Mayfield is still a good quarterback, just didn't really have the best into this season, but they weren't at the end of this season probably one of the worst teams, to be honest. I'm going to put them in C right behind the Vikings. The Philadelphia Eagles are a very interesting team because I don't think they have the explosiveness on the offense to make them deep in the playoffs, but at the same time, Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, this was the same exact players that led them all the way to the Super Bowl last year. I'm not sleeping on them completely yet. I can see those players actually turning up in the playoffs and just making a run to the Super Bowl once again. Obviously, this power rankings are based on what they look like right now when they're not looking amazing. So I'm going to put them in B, probably right above the Chargers, I guess. Then we have the Washington Commanders, obviously one of the most disappointing teams this year. I know they had a lot of injuries, but even when they were fully healthy, they still didn't look amazing. I'm going to have to put them in D. I do think they were one of the worst teams in the NFL this year, right behind the Arizona Cardinals. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my final power rankings of this season. Next video will probably be sending every single playoff game in Madden 26, so I'll see you guys then. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys, and I'll check y'all out next time. Peace.